Why are you leaking tracks through Yachty to Kai Cenat?
I mean, but he's playing. He likes playing the strings in the background.
But it's disappointing seeing some of my favorite artists show their support behind Trump. Absolutely.
Garisha was holding him back, baby. Man, that's what it sounds. That's all I got. I was like, Garisha was the one holding him back. Hey guys, and welcome back to a fresh episode of Billboard Unfiltered. So in case you guys missed it, Kai Cenat, he was on a stream. Lil Yachty sent him an unreleased record from Drake and Yachty himself called Super Soak. Previewed it last night. You know, got some mixed reactions to it.
Yeah.
So curious to hear y'all thoughts. Could this be the spark to Drake's comeback?
Wait, so he sent it to him saying it was unreleased.
Unreleased.
There are no other plans for it. Yeah, it sounds like an unreleased Drake song. Is like, yeah, it's not. Doesn't sound that special. Sounds like a pretty run of the mill unreleased Drake song, which
Sounds like a B+ to me.
which is good because Drake makes good music. So it's like, you know, sure.
Okay. I can live with a B+.
It's fine. I mean, I would love to hear the whole thing, you know, CDQ. But,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, sure. Sure.
I'm curious to hear y'all excitement as well. You know.
Yeah.
All right, you know, y'all. I need some excitement, all right.
Well, no. I mean,
This is what he elicits right now.
Well,
It's
it's
if it was a Kendrick record, we'd be all over it.
yeah. I mean,
better.
it'd be exciting.
yeah. I mean, look, there's a lot of things in play here. The first thing that y'all have said it several times that y'all think Drake should have vanished for the rest of the year, kind of laid cool semester 2, and clearly back, within a month and a half's time. Okay, so there's that. Then to come back with something that's a little more melodic, a little slow, a little, if Drake, I mean, as far as we expect or thought that he's focusing on the summer, he wants to get new tracks, he wants to get everything seemed like it was going to be some energy, some momentum back. I mean, this is not going to be the track that's going to, shoot him back to pop prominence or, Hot 100 #1 necessarily. It could, you never know what can hit #1. I'm not trying to, rain on the parade, but it does feel like to me that I would have thought he would come back with something a little more energetic. Whether or not it was going to be aimed at Kendrick, whether, subtle shots, sure, take him, leave him. But I was just, especially at this moment, and even Drake's R&B tracks, this feels like it's, I don't know if this is like lead single territory. I don't know if this is probably just put a feeler out there and see if they respond and kind of, if nobody likes it, you just say, hey, it was a throwaway, we were just kind of messing around, whatever. And of course, if they love it, you go on a Jack Harlow $1 Million Baby kind of like, damn, everybody wants it. Here you go. Boom. But it feels like, I'm surprised that if this is really the first track. And I guess maybe the fact that Yachty gave it, I know he probably wouldn't do it without Drake's blessing, but that's also maybe a little cover of Drake didn't necessarily have it. Yachty kind of felt it and Yachty kind of wanted it, but you can't say my fingerprints were on it.
Right.
So,
I mean, Kyle, let me pose you this. Were you surprised that he took a melodic approach on this record versus the traditional rapping that he does, or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think I was necessarily surprised. I think, as far as I can remember the Camila features, because they weren't that memorable, but as far as I can remember, he was pretty melodic on those also. We're still in the summertime, I like Drake with the melodies. I think a lot of people like Drake with the melodies. I don't think it's a huge shocker. I had to. Okay. I don't think it's a huge shocker that he went melodic. I do think that it's more of a shocker that this feels so tepid in a way. And granted, it's not CDQ, it's not an official release or anything, so I can't give a full critique on it, but it does kind of feel like it's lacking in the kind of energy that should be there, even if it's going to be a more melodic approach. It just feels kind of tired in a way. But I think the context it arrives is kind of funny though, because it's like you come back with this melodic snippet 2 days after you post a picture with the Tupac shirt on, kind of reigniting what that area of the beef was about, and it's like, okay, well, are you gonna rap? Because if you're going to antagonize him or try to antagonize that again, are we going to get rap Drake? And then we got melodic Drake with Yachty on the snippet. I don't really know what to make of what his strategy is right now. Yeah. But I won't say the track is bad. I won't say it's good either.
So I'll say this: the only concern I have, and this is more credit to Yachty than anything. I think Yachty's pen is very, very dope. The reference tracks in the past, another late, it was Jumbotron shit that came out. That was Yachty behind the pen. Another late night, that was Yachty working. So this also makes me wonder, was Yachty behind the pen for this as well? I think, to y'all's point, I'm not going to gas it. I thought it was a cool record. I expected more. But I still think he intentionally teased it just to gauge the temperature, just to see what the climate is, see what the reaction is going to be. If everybody's loving it, I'm going to give y'all the CDQ version of it.
I just don't get why we're doing this. Like, bro, you're Drake, man. Like, yeah, you lost the battle. Okay.
Ego's a thing, man.
Like, I get it, man. Like, you lost spectacularly.
Spectacular.
Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
But you're still Drake, bro. Like, why are we tiptoeing around this shit? Just if he teases that he's coming back this summer. Everyone gets excited, and the response was generally like, "Great, let's put this battle behind us. Let's all move on." And then all we get are Instagram photos and like weird captions and all this other shit. It's like, we know what you're capable of. We know who you are. We know what you can do. Just put out a song and stand behind it.
I think it's tough because I didn't anticipate Kendrick to run the summer the way he has.
It's one song,
but the video just gave it another surge.
Look,
it's still dominating.
We all love,
and the concert.
Yes, like we all love Not Like Us. Like I don't understand this. Like,
come on, Steph Curry.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying this. Like, I don't understand where this binary idea came from. Where because Kendrick has a hit that has been dominating and has been burning up the charts. Everyone's really into that. For some reason, Drake can't also make a hit record that does the same. Like, he has gone up against everybody. He's gone up against Jay-Z, Kanye, Kendrick, Cole, every other big name artist that you can think of. He's released hits while they were also making hits. Like, Watch the Throne was made in reaction to Drake's success. Yeah. And he's come out against that. He made God's Plan after he lost the fucking Pusha battle. Like, what is this? What are we doing here?
So let me pose you guys this record.
Why are you leaking tracks through Yachty to Kai Cenat?
I mean, but he likes playing the strings in the background.
Just fucking release a song, bro. Like,
you don't need to play.
We're all adults here. Yeah.
Like, if it's really that big of a deal, I feel like
I think his confidence is shot.
Then call up Cash, ask to put a verse on Problem. When that song drops and the verse goes viral and you're back in people's good graces, we can now shut up. Like, I don't understand why this feels like, to Damien's point, so much more dramatic than it needs to be.
Yeah, like, bro.
Like,
just come on with it already.
You know how to make a hit, just make a hit. Has that ability been shot a little bit? Is it a self-confidence thing? Do you need to take some time to get that back and then get back in the studio and give us a hit? I don't know. But if that's the case, be honest with yourself and do that. Don't pull strings with barely mid-track.
But the thing about, like, removing the Kendrick situation, which is, hard to extrapolate, but taking that aside, even in the past couple of years, Drake's hit record has been, I don't want to say it's been spotty, but it's clearly like the level of stickiness to those hits has not been what it's been. I mean, there are these sort of, start-stop songs like Search and Rescue or A Slime You Out or something that, are definitely major hits on paper, but they didn't last the same way. And so to kind of that point, I'm wondering, he clearly wants to be back in the conversation and not just in it, but dominating it. That's where he's been for, a decade of his career. So for you to even go from being the man to just, one of the big hit makers, that's a step down. That's something that he's not used to. So I think some of these start stops are really this sense of trying to figure out how do I not only get back in the mix, but make sure that I'm that nigga again in a way that he hasn't been maybe since, a Laugh Now, Cry Later, certainly a Scorpion era. But
so I was just going to ask, and I'm glad you brought that up. What's the last record for each one of y'all personally? Like, that was like the ultimate Drake record.
Just like dominating,
Just
solo
dominating.
record that he killed.
Mm-hmm. Whether it's chart success or not.
we say okay. Now we throw out the word solo record, so we not putting like the rich baby daddies in the mix or any of those kind of things.
Mm-mm.
I think it's like, what's the last
Drake
Drake solo record that just had everything in a chokehold?
Yeah.
Like God's Plan comes to mind.
If that's the case, In My Feelings, though.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
was
In
the
My
last
Feelings,
thing
definitely.
That whole
I mean,
thing, like that
yeah.
gospel, that's what.
So
In
that
My
era
Feelings
was like
thing,
the
yeah.
last.
But I would even give something like a Laugh Now or a Life Is Good. I know that's
I love
Future in the
Laugh
mix too, but like I would give him up to like that moment where
I was like
Life Is Good was
like
was
2020,
hard.
Yeah.
Life Is Good was great.
That was 2018, 19,
No.
20? 2020.
yeah, because I think the box was like it was the same time as the
That
box,
was a Future record.
and that was
That means so it's tough to have a solo record. But like,
Yeah.
he's been doing this for so long. No one's on top forever. Like
Don't tell him that, man.
no one's on top
Don't
forever.
tell that to the woman out there on European stages every weekend,
Yeah, right?
The
$1
Mad
gazillion
King
dollars,
and
you
the
know.
Mad Queen.
Listen.
I mean, all right, everyone not named Taylor Swift is not on top forever. But like, even Taylor is dropping mid.
I mean, you see this.
Get 'em, y'all, get 'em.
I'm just all right. Don't.
man.
All right, my fault. I didn't
say that.
I thought this was a safe space. I didn't know we were.
I feel like in this streaming climate where like people are now kind of allowed to have careers that last as long as they want to, they don't really get pushed out by like an industry or by a machine. Some people have this false idea that like everybody has to be on top until they completely clock out. That's just not how a music ecosystem works. There are going to be people who dominate all the time. There are going to be people who have flashes in the pans. There are going to be people who have a mix of in-betweens. But like 12 years on top is like nothing to scoff at. Like that's literally pretty much unparalleled, unprecedented. Like, and it's not like you fell from 1 to 60. Like you're still very much in our top 3 debates right now. Like it's not like
We're harping over the fact
fell
that this
down.
guy is, and when I say we're harping, it was me. I'm harping. I'm niggas. I'm the one that was harping that he had, the Sexy Red song debut at 44. I'm like, that's not what he used to do. But it's like, all right, niggas can't even get on the charts. It's a hard game out here.
Telling Drake just, be happy to be here is kind of crazy.
I'm not saying be happy to be here, bro. He's still
I
doing
ain't
it.
say all that.
I feel like it could be a red herring.
I
though, too.
said-
I almost think this is like
It might be
a little. He got something else cooking.
He
That
could just go back to TV. Didn't 50 Cent say that they was talking and cooking up some ideas?
I mean,
that for,
somebody's
like,
got to
5
hit him with
years.
like the Black Panther shit. Just like,
Do it.
remember who you are.
Yeah.
Just remember who the fuck you are.
Oh my God.
This nigga
wait,
Kendrick
is
got
that
it.
some Lion King shit?
No, nigga, it's Black
That was
Panther.
Black Panther,
I thought
man.
it was wait.
That was
Wait a minute.
that was Chadwick's pops, right?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's what it. What
I mean,
See,
they
that-
turned
that was
they
forced.
turned
sampled
they
that
turned
shit,
into
yeah. Okay,
they turned
yeah.
into lions
Okay.
in the planes when it what they did when it happened.
Yo, man.
Remember he went to the dream world.
I know.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And the whole yeah.
Wouldn't they be
when he saw his
Panthers?
pops when he was like
There was some sort of cat. I don't
Yeah,
know.
okay.
I mean, you're the one that got the movie wrong. Now I'm just trying to help you out. I'm trying to help you out.
I'm okay.
There were big cats
Well,
that
maybe
were talking.
Well,
That nigga needs to hop on a soundtrack. What's another movie coming out this year? He can do a soundtrack for.
What was the Tyler Perry joint that just came out? That shit.
Black, Divorce in the Black.
Divorce in the Black.
Yo,
Could have done a
man.
Hill soundtrack to that.
That would be amazing. Yo, imagine Drake does a Tyler Perry soundtrack. That would be
kinda fire.
fucking incredible.
I feel like it would actually
He would murder
work.
that shit.
Like
that would be
it would
amazing.
be like unironically embraced as good, and then
That is a
actually
fire
embraced.
idea.
Yo,
Okay.
OVO, send the invoice, please.
Let's go.
Wow.
Divorce in the Black 2.
Get Megan Good on a hook. Like that's gonna be
Megan Good on a
hilarious.
hook, yo.
Man, changing topics.
Amazing idea.
There has been an influx of rappers being vocal about their support for former President Donald Trump. The list includes Sexy Red, Waka Flocka, Chef G, Sleepy Hollow, who they were at a rally. I think it was in the Bronx a couple months ago. Previously, when Trump was president, I mean Kodak, he was outspoken about it. Wayne as well. With
Got them pardons.
Listen, got the pardon. So
That's definitely what Sleepy Hollow and
they got it all up
Yeah.
here. With the elections, gearing up, coming up in November. How do we feel about some of our favorite artists siding with Donnie.
I mean, they're free to do as they please. You know, it's America. But I would be willing to bet money that they have no idea what his platform is.
I agree 1,000%.
They probably even know their project 2025 is.
You know, which like Taraji, props to Taraji for everyone was clowning
at the BET
her
Awards.
at the BET Awards for saying it so many times, but the Google searches for that shit shot up after the BET Awards. I think she's probably the sole reason people were asking what that is, and people were actually interested in what was going on there. You know, I think we've been fortunate. And I say we, I mean people of our age, probably not Kyle because he's a child, but you know, growing up, it was like we were fortunate enough to have like rappers that were, you know, aligned with basic progress. You know, there was like we would use this platform to push for progress in our community, regardless of what that was, and we've seen that splinter post Obama, and we can get into like why we think that is, but that's an entirely different show. But what I will say is I think we haven't had a candidate that really united not just like Black people as a whole, but younger people in a long time. And for better or worse, if you don't know anything about politics, if all you see is like the headlines on TV, and then you turn and you see Trump just wilding out, being this guy who is seemingly impervious to anything, can do whatever he wants, say whatever he wants, you know, act however he wants, you're probably like, oh, I want to do that.
Right.
You know, that seems cool. Why can't we all do that?
So to that point, do you guys feel like it's kind of performative?
I don't know if it's performative as. Oh, sorry. I
No, go ahead.
don't want to take the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know how I would say it's performative. I think the thing that, like, in sort of reviewing who's supporting Trump and why, I wish people could, like, actually have some. All they really say is, "Oh, things were better. Things just felt better under Trump." It's like, oh, and I'm not even saying you got to go into the whole "Make America Great." When was it great? But like, what? So what was it like? Like, give me. Okay, so then there's that, because the other argument people always say is, you know, Trump was cutting them checks. I ain't ever.
Biden also gave stimmies,
but it's also like, do y'all y'all really think like the government walked over to Fort Knox? You know, because I mean, remember, all these things are happening during COVID. You remember how bad things had to be for these checks to come out? People were unemployed. More people on top of that were furloughed. Like, we ain't know where this shit was going. We didn't know when it was gonna end. And then these checks come. And people think that, first of all, I think it was just free money. Like the government walked over to Fort Knox and spun the motherfucking vault and said, all right, cut them off a little bit, you know, so everybody be cool. And the best part is, ain't nobody ever got to pay it back. It's like we gave ourselves an advance loan.
Right.
And people really think just because, you know, the name was signed on that check, that he just went in his goddamn Chase, you know, bank account and just distributed them out. Like that's what we're voting our whole platform and purpose on, is just because I got to check once upon a time. Like,
if nothing else, he's extremely good at marketing himself.
Absolutely.
I feel like as we barrel forward to these later stages of capitalism, it's so interesting to look at how Trump has remained a fixture in hip hop, just in different ways over the past couple of eras. Like, at one point you were the end all be all for what wealth looks like in the country, getting your reference and your name dropped just because you are the epitome of wealth. Then there's a 2016 period where some people are making fuck Donald Trump songs, and you're actually getting, you know, called to task on record. And then now we're in a place where money is just so the end all be all of everything around us, that anyone who's giving it to us, or anyone who is as closely associated to it as possible, we're throwing our support behind them, regardless of all the other damage that they also do. And it's like, damn, this man, we never finna escape him. Like, he 82 or 79. And it's like, you've been a constant fixture in hip hop for so long, just in different ways. It's really fascinating to look at. But it's a disappointing seeing some of my favorite artists So their support behind Trump, absolutely. Am I going to stop listening to said artist? No.
Oh, he said, I'm still bumping that sexy.
I just feel like
there you go.
I just feel like my
You're free to
fraction
like
of a cent of a stream is just not gonna do that much, and clearly, they're not hurting from
So,
it.
so-
apparently.
Have any of them come out and like voiced what you believe to be a coherent
Oh, not at all.
understanding or reason as to why they're supporting these people
Mm.
or supporting him?
But the crazy thing about it, most of these cats, they'll just be like, yo, I fuck with Trump because he just a funny nigga.
Well,
Yeah.
Which is
he has a
When it's like-
personality, which
I
is
was like,
not.
so y'all don't think I'm a
He-
funny?
he-
That
he's
laugh
a-
be taking
he's a
me
real
out.
nigga.
I love Miss.
He's a
I love
real
Okay, but are you
Yeah.
laughing? Where are you laughing at the laugh?
both?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm laughing at all
I
the
think
memes too.
Trump is objectively funny at times,
Mhm.
but I think that
It's not enough to run the fucking country.
no, it's absolutely not
No.
enough. But also, I think it's just because this dude, he does things that we've never seen anybody do before.
Yeah.
We've never just seen he's a felon.
But that's what
But this
black
comes
people
from
grab because he got
And
nigga,
so-
he got nigga tendencies.
there is a little like Frank Lucas.
It's-
Yeah,
where
it's like some on some like
like
you
that.
y'all can't touch Trump. Like Trump,
Teflon Don for real, bro.
Bro,
the fact that-
in y'all face, stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
It's incredible to like that it goes for these rappers that it's like, oh, that's incredible, as opposed to, wait, why can't I do that? Like, why is it that you're allowed to be
Yeah.
a felon and run for president, and I'm a felon and I can't vote?
like,
Bro, the assassination attempt gave him so much brownie points for certain people.
Brownie
For certain
points.
people. Yeah, like, yo, his level of gangster went up, like, exponentially.
All the memes
survived the
with,
shooting.
with,
I mean, Many
Many
Men
Men
was-
Yeah, the
was
man
insane.
shit.
whew, I speak.
It's,
But
They will say I have spoken.
Are we stumped?
it's important to say as well, over the weekend, President Biden officially pulled his name out the race, endorsing Kamala Harris. And as we saw,
President Kamala Harris.
you feel
you
me?
better say the
Come
whole
on.
thing.
I'm just trying to
Come
keep it.
on.
I'm just trying to
Vice
keep it
President,
even. You know,
That
It's like
might
Tribe
be-
Called Quest. You got to say the
Vice
whole
President
thing.
Kamala Harris, to where she raised $81 million in under 24 hours. In terms of the hip hop community, Cardi B came out. John Legend, Lizzo, Lil Nas X. She walked out to Beyonce's Freedom. We're starting to see everybody outside really rallying. So it's good to see that kind of support from the community to counteract.
It's what I was saying. Like we need somebody that can like rally, not only just black people but like young people.
Yeah.
We
to
needed
get-
energy.
Yeah, we needed
wanted
someone to
something
like
fresh.
rally everybody together and get people excited again, and that's
And it
that's,
helps that
that's
she
what can
presents
do.
as youthful. Like
Yeah.
she's 59, about to be 60, but presents like 45. Like she
Mm.
really feels so much younger than she actually is. And that's such a massive contrast to the way Biden presented,
Right.
the way Trump presents even. It's like, oh, actually I am kind of invested in this shit for real. Like I have some energy. I'm fired up. I personally was always fired up because, I pay attention to politics. But the rest of my the rest of my age mates, I think people are really like buying into we're gonna, really get out there and vote and get out to those polls because stuff is on the line, but also now I really feel like the parties are listening to me in a way that it's like, yes, we heard your cries, we heard your pleas, we're gonna run a different candidate, and it's gonna be this one, and we're all gonna fall in line behind her. I'm also happy that no one tried to like not force an open primary, but like try to like run up against her for it, because we didn't have the time to do any of that.
Oh, no.
But I'm happy that we fell in line in a way that I feel like the right is much more susceptible to doing, which is to their advantage. But we took a page out of their book this time, and it's paying off so far with those donations and those Zoom calls. And I think the Win with Black Women call had like 45,000 people on it, and the Win with Black Men call had like 44,000. It's a Win with White Women call on Saturday. Like people are really mobilizing in a really beautiful way to watch, and an electoral energy that I cannot say I've ever felt in my lifetime besides what I can remember from the 08 campaign. Like everything else has felt so dramatic and dreary since then, but this does feel like we have a glimmer of hope, and we're going to run with it all the way to November, and fingers crossed it actually, doesn't blow out before then.
I'm excited to hear Fabulous turn this into a bar.
He's gonna find a way before November.
It's gonna be amazing.
He's gonna find a way before November. So
Get ready.
Yeah, we got some time. And then this past Friday, I had a lot of releases, a lot of new music that came out. Childish Gambino dropped his last album.
Oh yeah.
Under the Childish Gambino moniker. JT came through with her first solo mixtape, City Cinderella. Blast came through with his debut album. Curious as far as like new releases that came out, what was sticky to y'all? What was gravitating? What y'all gravitating towards?
For me, it was definitely Gambino. I was just curious because it was the claim of his last album. We had this, and it was just interesting to have that up against, the last Slim Shady albums. Like all these like monikers, their alter egos are coming to an end, which is interesting. This, I think, a better album than The Death of Slim Shady. Both albums to me don't really put a cap on anything. Like I don't listen to this album and say like, oh, I get the Gambino story now. I understand why you needed this thing to have like this. If he's like, I'm gonna make music under Donald Glover now, and he made this album, I'd be like, oh, this makes sense. It's like a good hodgepodge of everything I believe he listens to and everything I believe he enjoys. There's like industrial dancehall and like indie rock and what he considers to be backpack rap. Some really good features, like Georgia Smith is on here on, I think, the best song, In the Night, is really good. It's tied to a movie, so I'm sure, as I think Kyle said earlier, like, or before we started shooting, when the movie comes out, we'll probably have a better understanding of what this is about. And I believe he told Zane Lowe, like, he did that on purpose so people could listen to the album and do the work to try to understand what it's about and try to create their own story around it, which I'm like, if you have a story, just tell us the story. Like, why we got to make it up? But it's good. I think it's really good. I'm not the biggest Childish Gambino fan at all. I would even say like I disliked a lot of his music in the past.
And this was the one for you?
To me, yeah, this is probably
because he had camp, because of the internet.
Yeah, I was never a fan of those.
I didn't know he said that on the Zane Lowe interview. That's interesting, because why drop a trailer? You've already given us images. You've already given us something, some semblance of a plot, which is why I was
why
like,
make a movie at all?
Yeah, even I'm listening to the album and I'm like already thinking back to the trailer that I've seen. So it's like I can't even really formulate my own idea because it's already informed by what you've given me, even if it's not the full thing.
Yeah,
which kind of fucked my listening experience, unfortunately. But I didn't know you said that. That's interesting.
Like the past albums, I didn't think they were all bad. I think Donald Glover is stupidly talented. I think he is one of the most interesting and capable creators and creatives that has been working over the past 10 to 15 years. His music was always just, to me, didn't stick to the ribs. I felt it was underdeveloped, if I had to give it a word. This feels like the best version of what he's been trying to do over the years.
This is the most polished.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can agree with that.
In my view. So, I hope he keeps making music. I hope he keeps going under Donald Glover. I'm interested to see what that looks like and what that sounds like and what it feels like. But as a last Childish Gambino album, salute.
Yeah. Shout out to Yo Phillips. He did a write-up for us. He ranked the tracks. It's funny because the song he has with his son Legend, I'm so sorry I gotta say this, but he had written, he said like it was a poor man's version of Will Smith's Just the Two of Us, like an attempt. I just couldn't get that out of him. I'm sorry. Yo. But Childish, he had some joints on that album, man. Like you said, the Georgia record, the Lithiona record that he had previously released. There was another song. I know Casa, you said you wasn't a fan of it. I think it was the
Steps Beach.
Yeah, that was
fire.
Yeah, when I first heard that was the first track of the first three where I kind of thought it went down a step. But then I don't know why. I guess I was distracted for like a minute. I played it back and I was like, wait a minute, no, I'm kind of fucking with this. Like I thought,
I like that song.
A good little clean, a vacuum. You know what happens when you vacuum?
You mask the music.
You know what I'm saying? Don't ever let me tell you something. Don't ever tell nobody they gotta do a vacuum record. You know what I'm saying?
My bad.
I like that song.
He said,
Go watching the
get that hoop on high. Just go. I'm sorry, I stepped in, but I do think I think the only thing about this record that threw me off was I felt like it was imbalanced in terms. I thought the first half was actually really, really strong. Like I liked, and even some of the features. I thought, even though I liked the songs, I wanted a little more Chloe. I thought the Amaré flow was actually really good. I think all the guests were good, but kind of after we got to I guess what's it, Yoshinoa, like in the back half, starting with the Legend song, it got a little more soundtracky, a little more like vibe, background. I guess to what Kyle's point, like when the whole project comes together, I guess we'll see where those songs fit in. But even like the Fouché record, which was completely different because it was, I like it, but I still wanted a little more of her. I'm surprised. It felt like the guests to me were a little limited. I mean, they
felt muted.
Yeah, a little like on the extra back burner. Like you could tell they were there. You could hear them. Obviously, you could get hints, but they didn't really feel like even equals or duets or measures. So I was a little surprised that they felt a little underutilized. But I do think actually like the first 9 tracks, if you put them together, were some of the best of his career. The only thing about the back part to me is I did appreciate how much different stuff we got. And if you read a lot of the interviews, especially I think the Times one was probably the most notable, where he talks about music not being quite as fulfilling anymore. So you knew he wasn't going to necessarily retread things that he hadn't done before. But to me, this felt like he was almost trying to put like a greatest hits album vibe before a greatest hits album. So it's like, let me give you everything about me in one album. But it's really like, if we got a different energy and vibe this time, then you would combine it with all the other stuff, I think we would have a sort of a stronger discography. So to me, we were like a step ahead in the process. And maybe that's just, obviously him coming to terms with his legacy and what all this means. But I would have liked that one step further.
Yeah. I think I have like 2 unrelated thoughts on the album. The first being like, I'm a huge fan of Childish Gambino pre This Is America, like his music. I think all of it's really, really great. This Is America onwards, I'm like, I cannot stand most of it. This most recent album, I guess this is where the other thought comes in. I don't know how to deal with it in terms of like, do I look at this as a soundtrack and only a soundtrack, or a studio album in his discography? Like, is this sitting next to Awaken My Love and it's sitting next to Camp and all these other things? Or is this more similar to like what Kendrick did with the Black Panther album, what Beyonce did with The Gift? Like, is this, because like there's parts of the script in the music. Like we have a trailer.
I think he's saying it's an album, right?
And it's like, I don't know if I really believe that for real. Because like, I'm like, part of it doesn't even feel like Childish Gambino anymore. It does feel very tied to this world of Bando Stone. Yeah. That like, I just need the tour, I need the movie, I need everything else to make it come to full fruition for me. And as it stands right now, it's a solid piece of work, I will say that. And there are a lot of tracks that I did like. I really enjoyed the Flow Million Amaré track a lot. I really liked the closing track a lot. But yeah, I think I just need to sit with it some more and see how the rest of the Bando Stone era unfolds, and maybe it'll all come together for me at the end.
That closing track in particular, I agree with that. Like that to me is where it all kind of intersected well. Like I could hear it obviously as a standalone record, but I could definitely like get a sense of, knowing the best basic outline that we have of what the plot is going to be. And it's sort of this, catastrophe in the world. And I guess obviously that's going to be the song where everything comes together and resolves. Like I got the vision for all that just off hearing it. And a few other tracks in there, I'm still waiting to get that kind of cohesion from it. But I'm sure, a guy like him, I'm sure there's a grandmaster plan in the works. So
crazy rain he got. He's so talented, so creative.
I know he said he was pretty much trying to sell that this tour is going to be like iconic. Like the best people have seen in a long time. And if not, you'll get your money back type vibe.
I do want to see it because Willow's opening, right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen her live. I want to see that.
So that should be a good one. Arena tour at that. I know you listened to the JT project.
I did listen
City
to the
Cinderella
JT
has been buzzing a lot over the weekend.
Yeah.
I
had a really good time with City Cinderella. I personally really love the mixtures of Miami sounds and New York sounds on the album. I don't think many people were expecting that mixture from JT, but I think the album makes, I'm not going to call it an album. I think the mixtape makes a very strong case for what the solo sound is for her, what her solo aesthetic is. It is lyrically sometimes similar to the City Girl stuff, but really you get to see her open up more about her traumas growing up, her sort of journey trying to start from the ground up, being from this group that kind of had this crumbling on their third album and having to make it on her own as a solo artist. I really loved the intro track. It's called Hope. And the last track, Star of the Show. Those are probably like the most New York heavy sounds on there. There's a track called Uncle Al that's like a tribute to Uncle Al from Miami, and it's so good. It's like genuine, authentic Miami bass, but she also uses this interpolation of Push It by Salt and Pepper. That's a really nice mixture there. And there's similar things happening with what's the name of that track? JT Cummins. She samples Breathe In, Breathe Out, that Fat Man Scoop record, and that one is really, really good. Like she has a really good ear for how to flip familiar songs into something that feels very, very individual to her. And overall, I just kind of love how all the Southern rap girls dropped a really strong project this year that sound like their cities. Like, Megan really sounds Houston. Like, Everything sounds like Memphis. Like, this JT project sounds like Miami. I think that's really, really dope, and it's a cool spot for female rap to be in with the Southern girls kind of running it right now.
Damn, Carisha was holding it back, baby. Man, that's what it sounds. That's all I got. I was like, Carisha was the one holding it back, man.
I'm saying JT can spit. That's all I'm gonna say. JT can spit.
Speaking of the samples we call out, I got to throw one question back that way. Because when I heard 90s Baby, did you hear 90s Baby?
Oh, yeah.
Because y'all don't know Carl Lamarre is the #1 Joe fan in the world. That's the wedding singer.
He might be number 2 because when I interviewed her, she loved Joe.
Okay.
She loved Joe. All things else she said. She loved Joe.
She was intentional about the flip.
No, very intentional.
Wow.
Like she went to was like, I want to flip this song. Wow. She was very, very, very involved in the production process for this tape, which is nuts because she recorded this while doing the club tour. This wasn't even like I am sitting down in the studio for 2 months and really working on this. This is like I'm hitting this club tour, I'm getting on this bus to the next one, I'm recording these songs. Most of these tracks didn't exist 6 months ago, and like here it is, and she has already teasing another one ready to go. JT's working.
I love that.
She definitely earned that spot on the top female rappers of the moment list.
I think she's gonna move up.
We re-rank that shit.
What y'all don't know is we got some advocates in the house.
Yeah. I think she gonna move up. And then I gotta give a quick shout out to Blast. He dropped his debut album on Friday, a 20-piece. I struggle when it comes to long albums, but I've always said with him,
not that TikTok attention span got you.
Yo, I can't lie, it's tough, man. But
pretty big though.
20-piece, bro.
It's a lot of albums. It's a lot of songs.
It's a lot of songs, man. But I've always said with him specifically, I just feel like he's someone who does not make bad music at all. So when you guys get the chance, definitely check out I'll Always Find You. He's always got people have been trying to knock him recently because they feel like he makes that same West Coast bop. But this album, you get a bit of Afro beat. You get some reggaeton because you got Becky G on the Rewind record. You get a little dance pop. He has a record with Ty Dolla $ign on I Need Your Love. So it's a concept album based on fictional characters. But the way he was able to string it together, he got some skits with E40 and Snoop Dogg. I thought it was well done. So shout out to Blast, man.
I like Private Show off that.
Private Show was dope.
Slow jam moment.
Yeah,
that was real
man.
nice.
He's a piece with the pen, man. I'm curious to see where he can go because I know he told me the biggest thing when he first came out, people were already designating him as that hook guy to be the next Nate Dogg, to be the next Ty Dolla $ign. He's like, yeah, that's cool, but I'm all about albums. I'm all about bodies of work, and this is his debut album, 2 projects before that, before I Let Go, and No Love Lost. He does not miss when it comes to projects. So special shout out to him.
Word. I like that. I like the young people are focusing on making albums. I like that. We thought that was gonna go away,
man.
So it's good to see.
We gotta keep that trend going.
Yeah. Props to him.
Yeah, man.
Die and breathe.
Amen. So appreciate y'all kicking it with us for an episode of Billboard Unfiltered. We will see you guys next week.